Well, hopefully this is working. The last live I just started, it wouldn't load. I don't know what the problem was. So hopefully anybody who was jumping on that one will hop over here. To those of you that have not been to my channel, first off, welcome to my channel, Borderline Hoarderish, where we hoard all kinds of things. Now, if you're a reseller, you know what I'm talking about. You know, I like to hoard me some shipping materials and, you know, things that I like to eBay. Woo! Amongst many other things. But anyways, yes, my name is Kimberly. This video is live with a live chat going. I do have some music playing in the background. I hope that it is not too loud. If it is, then I will turn it down. I would have just started the video maybe without it, but there is a small business behind my house, and we got some snow yesterday. Actually, kind of a lot. It was really, the weather here in Colorado was nuts. So it was, well, not really nuts for around here, because really, truly, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. But when I went and dropped my daughter off to school yesterday morning, it was like a blizzard out. You know, then a few hours later, the sun was out and melting everything, which makes for some really wicked driving later. But I keep bumping my desk. My apologies. Rookie live YouTuber here. I really need to get maybe a better setup, but you know, you got to start somewhere, right? I'm going to take this little piece of paper off. It's just a little note. A little note. So while I'm waiting for maybe some people to hop on, I can tell you a little bit about. So this morning I was feeling, well, tired, only because I had not. I didn't go to bed early. You know, the past few days have really been pretty amazing. You know, I'm just kind of just super excited and stoked for life right now. You know, a lot of things are going pretty kind of well. I'm proud of myself because I've done a lot of things more recently that for me were kind of pretty uncomfortable to do, you know, stepping out of my comfort zone. And this is something that I've always really struggled with, because for me, when I'm not in my comfort zone, it means I don't have control. And, you know, I don't like to really say that I'm a control freak, but in a way I am, you know, especially if it's maybe with something that I'm familiar with. Only because I've had a few different jobs, and I've definitely learned that time management in every job, you know, that I've had is very important. Oh, my dog is coming for a little visit because she thinks I'm talking to people. Well, I am, but as always, I'll get my dog to say hello. Violet, tell the people hi. Hi to how. Oh, she's such a sweet girl. She really is. She's looking around like, where are the people at? I wonder if I could share this. Maybe. I am not sure how to do that. That's all right. I'm sure people will eventually maybe figure out where I'm at. And if not, that is okay too, because I know there will be people who are eventually going to watch this. And all my shenanigans, all right? I'm trying to position my light here a little better. Yeah, I should have done all this before, right? No. I was taking pictures. I was kind of pre-drafting some things. So after I was done rambling, I figured maybe I could finish up those drafts and show you some of the weird little creatures that I'm currently putting up. They're more kind of, for me in my store, I'd say fillers. I really like to do fillers that are really easy to list. I don't always have to have, I guess, fillers in my store, but I recently did a bunch of inventory and got rid of a bunch of things that, had maybe sat too long, or I just maybe bought in the beginning of eBay, or whatever it is. Also things that were kind of too big and taking up too much room. And I do like to sell local, but I will usually wait. Selling local is really the best days to do it, depending on the size of the object, but is, hi pumpkin, please don't lick my mouth. She loves her some French kisses. The best days, I think, really for local, to sell things local, especially through the Facebook marketplace, or let it go, or whatever it is, at least here in the Denver area of Colorado, is on days that it's nice. And so I have a few items that I'm just waiting for kind of a good weekend that are much bigger, some little like moped scooter type of things. And so, yeah. All right. Violet, you're going to have to go get down. Tell all the people. Tell all the people. Bye. So, yeah, I like listing little fillers, kind of like these things, during the times where I don't necessarily have that much inventory. And right now, I just really don't have a whole lot of inventory. And that's just because I want to really be organized this year. For once in my life, much more organized, and stick with it. Because I have a really bad habit of starting something and I'll do it for, a couple months. And then after that, I just don't. And then I'll be like, life will catch up, and I get back into it maybe, but then I'm overwhelmed. So I just don't want to deal with it by that point. But so back to my motivation. I was not really feeling a whole lot this morning on wanting to get up because, and just start listing. Yesterday, I was really pushing for putting 30 listings in my store, which I was like 6 short of. Technically, I posted 48 items, but there was only 24 individual listings that I had made, throughout the day. And so I was kind of just not feeling the whole wanting to, I guess, list today. And then I thought about the fact that, I need to show up. Basically, when I did have a more of a traditional 9-to-5 type of job, and another boss, there wasn't a choice necessarily on what day I was going to show up, especially when I was the manager, your general manager. Then it was absolutely showing up every day, because there was no one there to cover my butt, like there was no one there to do my job. So I had to show up. And the reseller life can sometimes feel really sort of repetitive in the listing sort of aspect. Of course, the hunt is always amazing. Anybody who thrifts or is a treasure hunter or bargain hunter, frugal shopper, cheap mofo shopping person, couponer, whatever, knows that when you find that item and you get it for a good deal, like, it is exhilarating. Really, it's a natural high. I have been addicted to buying bargains since I was little. Both my parents were kind of bargain shoppers, so they taught me well, though. I wouldn't say it's maybe addicted that I was. Maybe that's not the best word, but I wasn't feeling motivated this morning. I didn't want to really list or anything like that. And I remembered to myself that I need to show up just like I would at, of having a regular job, or when I was a general manager, because there was no one there to cover my butt, and I already know the vicious cycle that if I didn't get my butt up and figure out how I was going to get myself motivated, that I would then in turn feel bad and just kind of be like, blah, I'll do it tomorrow. I always tell my children, you can restart your day at any time. And I need to be a lot better about, doing the things that I'm teaching them. I know that there's the saying, do as I say and not as I do. But I really think for me, parenting should be more of a, showing your kid how to act and what to do. Just, lead by example. So I got up and I jumped in the shower, and then I started listening to motivational type of speeches and videos, and that always gets me pumped. If you can't find the motivation to do something, find it somewhere else. Like whether that's listening to somebody, whether that's, I don't know, turning on your favorite song and dancing around the living room. Anybody who knows, who's watched me so far in any of my lives, I sometimes tend to dance around my living room. Even if I don't necessarily feel like it, I'll do something like that because, you start getting that heart pumping a little bit and things start to change. So please, if anybody can let me know if you can hear my music when somebody does jump in the chat, that would be fabulous. I am always paranoid that my music's too loud, but I had to kind of have some sort of background noise, especially because the business behind cannot plow snow for the life of them and are probably going to have to replace their entire parking lot because of the way that they are trying to shovel the snow with I don't know, one of those construction, I can't think about a little dump scoop thing. I always think of Bob the Builder characters. Scoop. Muck and Dizzy, join the crew. Yep, I'm a mom, 2 children. 2, and I got some furry babies. So I was listening to motivational videos, and it got me all pumped up again to attempt to at least get some more listings done, after posting so many. I wanted to definitely get my 30 in the 24-hour period that I was kind of shooting for. Well, I was honestly shooting for the 30 listings yesterday, but I missed it by 6. And instead of dwelling on it, I was like, you know what? I busted my little behind doing that. So that's all right. That is all right with me. I was listening, and I wish I could remember who it was that said it, but I heard a little quote this morning was that you have to stop living life like you have 1,000 years to live. And that was really got me kind of thinking today about the fact that, if I want to do all these things later in life or now or whenever it is, I need to quit pushing it off and thinking that I have forever to do it. Because, yeah, I'm sure it would be nice if we all, could live to 100, but that's not necessarily the average. And then you have situations like, medical issues or whatever it is, like I sort of have, and maybe I will live to 100. I'll just be all robotic. Everything will be replaced. But, if I want to do all these things, I really need to just make sure that I'm stepping forward, in that direction of whatever it is. And plus the weekend is coming tomorrow. And I try really hard to make sure to have some big gaps of time where I can hang out with my family. Also, every Friday we do family game night and either a movie or we'll do the movie Saturday night. It depends. My daughter and I, when my son is with his dad, we like to watch our movies on Tuesday nights or Thursday. But the recent movies we have been watching is the Twilight series. Yeah, she had never seen those, and I figured she would love them. She's kind of into this, dark vampire. I don't know. We used to watch the Vampire Diaries and stuff, so we sort of have that connection. So it's Twilight Tuesdays around here. What are you gonna do? It used to be, it just depend on what show we were watching, but it'd be the Vampire Diaries on Thursdays. But that show isn't on anymore. That's all right, though. I'm gonna grab my cup. Thank you to those in watching currently. Look at my cute dog back there. If I keep talking to her, then she's gonna come over here because she'll freak out. Another quote that I kind of jotted down when I was listening to all those motivational kind of things this morning was, there's nothing more powerful than a changed mind. And I thought that was really pretty brilliant, because the more I thought about it and the more they talked about it was, you can change your hair, you could change your clothes, you could change shoes, car, whatever it is. But if you don't change what's going on up here, you're just going to continue to repeat the same process or whatever you're doing. Even with changed hair and appearance or whatever it is, you need to kind of apply it and mentally, change. I'm big with self-talk. I think it's really important to not, talk negative a whole lot about yourself, because I really think that it truly, truly does affect your mindset in that moment. And, even maybe for the rest of the day. And if you just continue to, beat on yourself, you're going to give up. So yeah, it's sort of a fake it till you make it kind of aspect, but you know what? It works if you force yourself to smile. You might feel silly, but in your silliness, you'll probably smile even more. So you should try it. I mean, you really can change your day, change whatever it kind of is fairly quickly, that mindset that you have, but you have to do it. You can't expect to have this giant eBay store or whatever it is, Amazon store, and never list, or never source or sort of do it, it's just not ever going to work like that. For sure not going to. Well, here's another good one. If you try, only two things can happen. So no matter what you do, there's only two things that are a possibility, really. Either you're going to fail or you're going to succeed, And I think it's better to try and take that 50% chance on it being either one than doing neither at all, because you're definitely not going to be going forward if you're just sitting there. For sure. It sucks to fail sometimes. It really does, but that's, of course, how we learn and how we don't continue maybe doing what we're doing. I know that if you really look into the most successful people on the planet, you'll for sure see that they have all failed plenty of times at plenty of things, but they still go on and succeed, which is awesome. You got to step into your fear and push yourself forward. Yep, pretty much. That is a true statement right there. I'm going to scoot my little chair here forward. That's funny. I like my dog back behind me listening, waiting for me to get up or go somewhere, or the cat to do something. I don't know where the cat is. Oh, you can't really see her. She's down over here on the ground. Oh, there she is. She's down there. She likes laying right here because right underneath the couch over there is a vent that is where the heat is coming out. I was feeling lazy on the appearance, but I wore something that made me happy. The most ridiculous hood in the world. See? Forcing myself to fake it till I make it, right? Oh, that's great. I'm pretty sure my cat is throwing up a hairball in the middle of this live. Woo! Friyay! That is funny. Sorry, I'm trying to get here. All right. I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Ooh. I'm going to talk about some of my exciting, cool things that are happening. So it was it last week? Towards the middle of the week, I applied for a merch account on Amazon, and I'd watched a few videos and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, I can do this. I filled out the application, and I definitely think I'm going to make a future video about the whole process, because I noticed on some of the ones that I watched about, even designing t-shirts and all that, made it seem, it is fairly easy, but it wasn't as easy. And the biggest thing is there's always a hurry up and wait kind of process, which is pretty much like everything in life. Like when I was filling out the application, I didn't know that it was going to take up to 14 days for it to be approved for me to sell on merch. So that was, at first I was like, oh man, I can't believe I have to wait. Like, that stinks, but that's all right. It only took about a week. I think it was just 2 days ago. 3 days ago that I got approved, and I just got immediately to trying to do a basic text type of merch, which happens to be my YouTube channel name, Borderline Hoarderish, because I just think it's so funny. I can't wait. I need to order some, but here's my big news though. So after I had done that, I made a shirt yesterday, and then the day before. I did it right away, the first one, when I got approved for it. And yesterday, somebody bought one. So that is so cool to go into my merch and see that I have a supporter. Woo! I'm pretty stoked about that. Again, I really would like to do a video on that type of thing. I noticed that there's not necessarily a more recent one of exactly how to do that. So whenever I go and I search for something on YouTube, and I need to always be mindful of this too for my own channel, but I'll do the latest. Like if I'm looking for something in a specific, like, what are the latest shipping regulations or whatever it is, I will make sure to filter out and do the most recent, and I'll do them, most recent in the past month. And just because I want the latest and greatest, especially now that it's a whole new year, there's all these things that, are changing, like shipping prices, for example, and all that. I really like Pirate Ship. For those of you that do not know about Pirate Ship, I highly suggest it. I like it because you can import, what package is sold from eBay, and it is really fairly simple to set up. It didn't take me very long at all. It was, I think, pretty easy to use, and it gives you the price range and sort of shows you the best place to go and ship whatever, the best thing that's going to save you the most money. So that is pretty cool. I like to use it. I don't use it on everything because, so what I'll do is I'll bring up in my eBay, I'll bring up, you know, what needs to be shipped off. And then I'll go into my pirate ship account and just kind of double check to see which one's cheaper. And if pirate ship isn't any cheaper, then I'll just use the screen that I have up from my regular eBay account, then try to print it off pirate ship. But pirate ship has saved me quite a bit of money. And, you know, if it's shipping smaller, well, I'm pretty sure that first class is, I don't think a pirate ship really saves you any money on first class. Might just be past a certain amount. I'll have to look into that. For sure, I'll have to look into that. But I like it. I like saving money. Saving money is good. Good. My next investment I'd like to do eventually is get a better way to print my labels, because I'm just using a printer. I'm very grateful for my printer. I think it's awesome. When I first started eBay, all I started was from my phone. No printer, no PC, laptop, nothing. I just started from my old Android phone, which, you know, was kind of junk. I mean, even though I have it right here. Well, only because it made it hard to edit photos, because the screen, oh wow, this thing is really kind of dirty. My son likes to play Roblox on this. Anyway, so part of the screen was like messed up, and so it was darker in parts of it than the other parts, so it made it kind of hard. But it just to edit and get them perfectly white, or as close as I could to being white. So I used this it was pretty it's kind of a basic sort of smartphone, and it did just fine for me. Pictures, even though the screen was messed up, it would come out, you know, not messed up in a listing or wherever I uploaded a picture at. So that was fine. Fine with me, for sure. I am almost positive that my music is way too loud. Girls just wanna have fun. Girls that wanna have fun. I'm turning this down because I know y'all can probably hear it. I haven't gone live on a Friday, so I wasn't sure how many people would be around. I know that there is a lot of good shows that are later on Fridays. Just for future, the day that for sure I will always go live is Mondays. I think it's a good way to kick off the week. It'll probably be around lunchtime here in Colorado. You know, it just depends on my mornings, but I'd like to have more of a set time. But yeah, it'll for sure be on Mondays. It kind of forces me, and I'm hoping everyone else, to get your week started off on the right foot, which I think is important. Just know that if it doesn't start off on the right foot, you can restart it anytime. Don't let one bad moment ruin your whole day or your whole week or your whole month or whatever it is. Just not even worth it. It's just really not. Maybe I need to start getting my stuff ready. So I pre-did a few of my listings right before I came on live, just for the fact that, well, it was easy for me to do. One of the reasons I love listing my, as I call them, fillers, or some of these figurines. Don't get me wrong, there are figurines out there that are worth, you know, for sure worth some money, but these little guys are profit-wise, you know, a couple dollars. But I can list a whole bunch of them off of just one basic draft. So that's exactly what I did. Was I made one main draft, and I have 10 sitting over here. I'm not going to do them all today because I want to kind of, spread them out a little bit. But I have, I don't know, probably another 20 more over here. And I will buy figurines in bags or like the little toys in Goodwill, and those little, they have usually kind of sort of just doesn't always look like anything but junk in it, but I like buying stuff in little bags. I like listing smaller items. For me, and my space wise, it just works out way better. I don't want my place to necessarily be overwhelmed. And I'm also fearful that if I have it all over my house, that one of my animals are going to get into it, or maybe my kids might knock it over, or something. So it's just easier for me to stick with the smaller things, and then the bigger things, like the stuff that I like to sell on the Facebook Marketplace, I'll put in a container and store it in my garage, or a lot of times it's so big that it doesn't fit in a container. And for smaller items, if I do try to sell them, on Facebook or whatever, I try to let it go for, I want to say almost a year, and I just didn't like it. I noticed that it was a lot more people were kind of flaky, but one of the reasons, if I'm going to sell, on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or Let It Go, or, one of these kind of more local sites, is I like Facebook because you have a sort of an easier way to tell if somebody is even real. And you also can for sure kind of scope out what maybe they look like. I do porch pickups in a way, but it's actually more mailbox pickups. And then for the bigger stuff, if it's too big, and I can't meet them there, I won't meet anybody unless it's over a certain dollar amount, and I won't meet somebody without having somebody else with me. Maybe that's just my paranoia. I don't know, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? That's what I figure. So when I do sell smaller things, I will put it in my mailbox. And my dad works for a security company, so I have the hookup on some cameras, so I can see a lot of what goes on, so for me, it just works out well. I do know that you can also, make listings and offer shipping, which I haven't really done, but wouldn't be too bad of an idea on smaller things. I figure if I'm going to do that, then I might as well just put it up on eBay, because, yeah, one of my first goals on eBay was, to get my first 10, listings up, but to start getting that feedback so that I could list more. And something that for those of you that will, that will follow my channel, you will hear me state over and over and over how important customer service is. And think about it in this aspect. I may have a small store now. It won't always be. Mark my words, but customer service is what really pushed me to be able to list more, and them, to, let me have more listings to be able to put up on eBay because of the feedback. I think feedback is really important. And I will give you all my little secrets. I know for bigger stores that this is much harder to do when you're shipping out a ton. When I was shipping out things 5, 10. There was a couple times where I've done 30 things in a day. Or sorry, it was over 2 days. It was the weekend. But then I'll smash these out ahead, or at least part of them out ahead. I know a few resellers who really like to do that. I know that I could probably print out little things and cards and stuff like that. And I plan probably to get business cards or whatever in the future. I have had business cards from past ventures. And so I just wanted to be really sure about all the links and stuff that I cha-ching. Oh, all the links that I or any type of websites that I put on that. And so I just have not done that yet, but I should. So I get these little cards. I find cards everywhere. When I have to go buy them, I buy them from the Dollar Tree. You can buy them at Dollar General and the dollar store, and obviously Walmart and Target and all that. They're more expensive though when you buy multiples. So it's funny how these same 8 cards, or maybe it was 10 cards, were $1 at Dollar Tree and $3.99 at Dollar General, or sorry, Family Dollar. So I'll go over to Dollar Tree and get them. I do like to look at Goodwill in their sections where it's like a mishmash of things. Usually, party supplies or paper plates or whatever, and then there's not normally a whole lot of bins that are filled with it, or they'll have some weird container, on the bottom or whatever it is. But I have found quite a few times cards in those things, and that's kind of cool because some of them are neat because they'll be more vintage and stuff like that. But in my card, I'll put the person's name. If I'm pre-doing these ahead of time, obviously I don't know their name, so I'm not gonna put their name up there, but I will leave a little bit of a gap at the top, and then I'll put, thank you, Bob, for your purchase. If I have time, especially in the beginning, I put on every single one of them, I was like, thank you, Bob, for your purchase of the Russian music box. I love the colors of it. Please let me know it arrived safe. And I love to put that at the end because it sort of forces people to respond to you, or at least message you, or send feedback, and you'll get to be able to listen more and stuff like that. And plus, customer service is incredible. The most common thing that I have, is people appreciating. Most common comment, appreciating the time that I took to do something that takes me 30 seconds. I wish I had beautiful handwriting like the flippin' hustler. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he has beautiful handwriting. I might just have to have my daughter write some out. She has awesome handwriting. Yeah. I don't have. It's funny because I'm an artist. I love to paint. I can paint pretty much anything. Like Bob Ross style is my favorite. There's a picture that's back here, but I cannot write to save my life. And I am horrible at painting walls. You want me to paint a mural on the wall? Done. To actually just paint on the wall, I will get more paint on me than I would on the wall. Yeah. Just until the story goes. Here's another good little tip. If I am shipping something super, super light and I don't even want to take the chance of it getting any heavier, I will slice. Sorry, I'm all flipping it. If you can see what I'm doing. I will slice this off and just write on this part. Another reason I like to, this goes my, like to put cards in. Yes, I'll put the card in. It's a little envelope. Let's see, do I have let me grab a little eBay folder here. So when I put something in here, you put your label up here, and I don't have a label printer thing yet, so I have to tape around my label for now, and that's fine. I get most of my supplies for free, so it doesn't really cost me anything. But I'll have the label, stick my item in there. Usually I will pre-fit my item in just to make sure, and then take it back out, put the label on while it's flat, because it's hard. It's hard to stick the label on when you have all this bumpiness to it and to get it to kind of look nice. I don't think I don't know if a lot of people really care about that, but then just another thing that shows how your customer service is really quite key. And when my store does get bigger, that's what's going to for sure set me, make me different than the other ones is that. So, or at least I hope. I know from other past businesses that theory does work. I know that it does. My mom used to, or my mom and my family, my parents basically, they ran a consignment shop for quite a few years, and customer service was pretty important and very beneficial. Just taking the time to, instead of like it seems so commonly now when you go into places where you can't find anybody, I was that person who was going to sort of help you. And if I could tell that you didn't want to be bothered, I for sure wasn't going to be one of those people that continued to bother you, because that's annoying too. I've taken a few courses, like business type of courses. So I've been sort of taught. But so back to my shipping thing. I'm having squirrel moments. Squirrel! Yeah, so I'll put the label on, and then I'll put the card actually behind the object on this back side, so that has just a little bit more, of a cushioning. And it depends on what I'm shipping. I just got a bunch of these the other day. This is the first time I've used these, because I haven't had to really get anything like this. I just had these. I used my coupon, and I think I paid $1.50 extra, which was pretty cool. The ones I use the most though are these. Again, I used the coupon to get these, and I need to reorder more, but I like to really try to do my best to never have to pay for shipping materials. I'm so grateful to have a few good sources on that type of thing, and it's another reason why I am able to list things maybe at a lower price, or because I don't have to take that cost necessarily. I know, and I live in Denver, Colorado, so the access to shipping materials is pretty easy. But if you live in a smaller town, obviously you don't have all these stores and all that around. I would either maybe make it a monthly thing to go to a bigger city or whatever, or I would just ask. I mean, when I lived in Kansas for 4 years and I lived in a small town, every single one of the little towns around, like all of them were a little bit hoarder-ish for real. They were all hoarders of things. Maybe not all of them, but there was a lot of people who had buildings that had stuff in it, and so you could ask around is another thing. And then also the post office, you can order a bunch of shipping things, boxes and stuff like that. I was really big into doing a lot of things in the priority flat rate envelopes, and I will do that if it weighs too much. A lot of things I list, in the last month or so have been lighter things, so that hasn't really been of advantage for me. But yeah, today I was listing these little funny creatures. Maybe y'all can try to help me figure out what some of these dudes are, so I know. But I'll show you the ones that I did, and then I need to adjust my listing and post it. Work a little bit. Work it. Ooh-wee. I don't know why I say that so often. I'm all, ooh-wee. It's my redneckness that I got from where I lived in that damn Kansas state. Yep. I lived dead smack in Tornado Alley. That was an interesting experience. In Denver, and I don't know if this still holds true, but last time I checked a few years ago, the worst tornado to hit Denver was F3, I think, and it was like in the 50s or something. That's more main Denver. There are a few that kind of hit some of the outskirts, but it's usually just the edge, and that's when the storms will ramp up and go out east and really do some damage. Like Weld County, which is not too far from here, is an area in the United States that has, the most tornadoes that hit the ground, or one of the most, or something like that. But yeah, so here, I've seen, when living here, a few funnel clouds and stuff like that, but I'd never really seen a tornado at all. They just don't happen. It's not that if there's a tornado warning here, definitely don't be going outside or anything. That would be silly, but an F3 will rip off roofs, and if you live in a trailer or anything like that, could really do some serious damage. But an F3 is like nothing compared to the ones that were in Kansas, because those were scary. And the house that we lived in did have I wouldn't even say it's a basement, but it had a crawl-in. I'm not sure. I'm totally drawing a blank on what it would be called, but it was just dirt, and the access to it was outside. And when I lived there, that was where my son was born, and we lived there. I lived there for 4 years. Let's see. So I moved there in 2009, and my son was born in 2011. And that was an interesting experience to have to pre-plan for the weather, basically, because part of the foundation in this basement was the house was 110 years old. And so the original foundation was like rocks, stuff with, I don't know, cement, dirt. And it had slightly fell because of some flood or something. I'm not sure exactly how it happened. Maybe just it being like that. I don't see any basements that are necessarily like that anymore. So I was always kind of paranoid about that. And I also had my daughter, who's 6 years, almost 6 years older than my son. So she was little. She was 5 or 6 or something like that. And so I'd put my son in our little carrying car seat and take them out, and we'd go sit in the dirt basement. I put my son in that little car seat because I figured he'd be safer in that thing than if something really did happen. And there was a few times where there was tornado that wasn't too far off, for sure. Tornadoes can become very wide, very quick. I heard on some tornado show that they were talking about how a tornado can grow up to 2 miles wide in 30 seconds or something like that. So we had quite a few tornadoes that were within a mile. So that was pretty scary. But I'd take my kids down, and I would sort of put my daughter, especially if we knew it was really close, like over the car seat, and then me kind of over her in a way, just to protect them, because You know, there was only one of me and two of them, and they both, of course, were, well, my son could really, I mean, he didn't really know exactly what was going on. He would get antsy, though, sitting in his car seat for sure. As always, I'm drinking tea. Let's see, this one says, tea quote for the day says, may this day bring you peace, tranquility, and harmony. I don't know, what am I supposed to do with my fingers? Woosah. I'm such a dork. I need to get to a listing. That's what I need to do. Cha-ching! Don't you just love it when there's some cha-chings? Ching, ching, ching. Ching, ching, ching. Ching, ching, ching. Why won't it let me see it? I got a heart from my sweet Beth at 10 of Hearts. I was watching her video right before I got on one of her last ones that she did. I just love her. She is just cute as a button and so sweet. She is going to do things, people. She is on it. She's got big plans. One thing that I love about her is, like, for example, today when I was watching her, she was talking about, scheduling, and I really need to be a lot better about that. And I was thinking, I should do that because I get a little kind of all over the place. Maybe it's time. I'm a lister. I list to list. Like, I'll make a list to make a list, but I don't necessarily have them all in slots. Now, when I have both my kids here, the afternoons after 4 o'clock, I am on a schedule. It's the same thing Monday through Friday, every single Monday through Friday during the school year. We come home, the kids both go to a charter school, they wear uniforms, so they come home, they change their uniform, usually throw it into the laundry room, they go and grab a snack, do their homework, then it's chores, and then it's dinner. Usually I'm either have pre-prepped dinner or I cook it that night. Y'all, if you do not have an Instapot, it is my best friend. I love the Instapot. For real. It is amazing. It cooks so many things so good. It's easy. I mean, even if, and I don't like necessarily to eat a whole lot of noodles or anything like that. It's just not my thing, and I try to sort of be mindful, of what I put in my body. But my kids love them some noodles, and when you're in a hurry, making chicken Alfredo is pretty easy to do, especially in an Instapot. Like, just throw all that stuff in there, and I usually hit the rice button. One of the things I want to learn is jarring, more about canning, because my Instapot has that. That would be cool. I try every spring, I attempt to grow a garden. Not always successful. Like last year, so the issue in my yard is that in some, like, it's not very shaded very well. It is just sun all day, and during the months of like July, it's hot. And so, I mean, the sun basically scorches a lot of the plants. And so I did kind of a test on a watering system for my tomato plants. I'll have to make a video on that. I see that as a future video because it really works for a whole bunch of things. And it's yet another thing that, for me personally, it didn't cost any money. I had access to all of the items. The only real item I think most people would probably have to buy to do it the way that I did it is the bucket. and it was 2 buckets and then basically a kind of watering system. So it would just, and it was a tube that had a funnel at the top that I would water down into. And it was the reason my plants survived when we went to Oregon last summer. None of my other plants survived. My pumpkins, none of it. So I'm almost in that time of year to be planting seeds and sticking them in our windows, but you have to wait. The growing season here is not very long, just because of how long the ground stays frozen. I mean, in some places the snow will stay, till summer, but when I lived up in the mountains, it would snow and it would stay the whole time pretty much in parts of the yard, the more shaded areas, till June. So it just doesn't. But I really like, if we owned this place, I would build in a whole garden system. I have plans to try to figure out how to do a greenhouse on a budget. I like the watering thing. So I went and I looked at some that are pre-made, and man, those things are so expensive. That's what got me thinking I could make this. So I usually will draw it out and I'll go to my man. I'll be like, okay, this is my, Bev, I got an idea. He probably eye rolls, I'm sure, but I'll draw out the idea, and especially if I'll give him a few days to kind of figure out how to collect the materials or sort of think it out, or we'll talk about it, and he is so amazing at taking my chicken scratch of a drawing and making it come to life. Pretty amazing person. I too, I'm handy at building stuff. Oh, see, this surprisingly, actually, I'm just kidding, you guys can steal it, it's all good. So this is part of the drawing, but this is the kind of stuff I come to him. I'm like, okay, this is what I need. So yeah, that was basically a start of one. But what it ended up doing was it was 2 buckets. So a bucket inside of a bigger bucket with PVC pipe, and then another type of small cup that had holes in it. I needed something to kind of make it so it wouldn't fall in. And then I took string, tied little knots and stuck it through the holes in the bottom. The bottom of this cup. And this cup, actually, this is a picture of what it looked like right here. Yeah, y'all came to my eBay show and you didn't know you were learning about gardening. Bro, it's a really cool technique. It's really worked really well, and I was really proud of it. I'm gonna try it. So I have 5 containers now, but I want to try it with our pumpkins this year, because those are the ones I really have a hard time, I guess, trying to get to not die. So yeah, this system worked really well. In the back of each one was a hole, so that the water would never go above a certain amount. And then, of course, I would fill it all up with dirt. This little part where the strings went down would be kind of at sucking up the water, and this thing was full of dirt as well. I like to use coffee filters in the bottom of planters or in things like this, so that the soil doesn't come all out. It's a good little trick. It works well and still will stay watered well, and it's kind of not so terrible. It doesn't have a bunch of toxins, kind of thing. I don't know. It just depends, I guess, on how you are for that. But this worked really well. This whole little technique. I really, in my dream house, I have a giant garden where I grow it all. I would rather know where my food is coming from than all the scariness of nowadays. I can't believe, I absolutely cannot believe how many times I hear about, a recall of food. Like, there needs to be some better regulation on figuring that out, even with water. That will be a whole nother video. Don't get me started on the water thing, people. Don't get me started, man. We get our, we order water. We get it delivered. Maybe I need to make note of that. Future videos on YouTube about how nasty is your water really? Oh, pretty much. All right, so I'm going to, give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a few things so I can finish listing my little cool dudes. Oh, that'd be the train going by. Yep. In the ghetto. In the ghetto. I just like that train. It annoys me, but I am grateful for the roof that we have over our head and the cheapness of the place we rent. So we deal with the train for now. My dream house does not have a train running next to it. People are silly and they like to park in the, not park, but stop down the road a little bit on the train track because they apparently cannot see all the signs saying there's a train track. And so there's been many accidents. And so the conductor, he blares on that horn every single, well, not every time, but when there's somebody that's in the way. So if y'all hear that, that's what that is. Toot toot. A peanut laid on a railroad track. His heart was all aflutter. Along came number 9. A toot toot peanut butter. If y'all have little kids, you should teach them that. My kids love that thing and they still love it. They still love it. My son used to be all, I'd stop at the whole, a toot toot, and I'd be all, a peanut laid on a railroad track. His heart was all aflutter. Along came number 9. And I'd get all excited. And my son would be all, I toot toot. Peanut butter. Oh, my dog is getting all excited. What, do you want to say hi to the people again, Violet? Okay. This is what we do. This is how silly we are around here. I'm a little crazy around here, just so y'all know. I'm a little bit of crazy. Ready? Oh, Savannah, yeah, I need to find her a mane, so she could be like a little lion cub. Oh, that's my sweet girl, Violet. Oh, my sweet girl is my pumpkin girl. Need my pumpkin girl, Queen. I call her Queen. Queen. She's my corn dog. Corn dog. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a little rubber room. I died in that little rubber room. There were rats. I hate rats. Rats make me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a little rubber room. I died in that little rubber room. There were rats. I hate rats. Rats make me crazy. Crazy. I was crazy once. Okay, I'm just kidding. People are going to unsubscribe because they're going to think I'm annoying. It's all right. If you don't like me, don't let the door hit you in the butt. Woo, I got 4 likes. Thank you to those that have hit that thumb. Y'all make my day. Every single one of you. On a serious note, I really do appreciate everybody who watches my videos, my shenanigans, and who has liked and subscribed, and also the ones who have given me a few shout outs. Some of my favorite people. I'm gonna give you all some shout outs. Hip Flippin' Mama. If you don't know who she is, go to her channel, Hip Flippin' Mama. That's MAMMA. She is awesome. Love her. Such a sweet person. beautiful soul, beautiful person inside and out. I've already mentioned Sweet Beth, who I'm sure is just listing away. I know that she had some plans to get some stuff up and listed, which is awesome. If you're out there, Beth, Miss Beth from Ten of Hearts, love you, girl. Do what you gotta do. Also, the Shamrock Pixie. She is awesome. I was in a live with her and Hip Flippin' Mama and the Flippin' Hustler and Kelly, the Ecom Mom, just a couple days ago. That was interesting. That was the first time I tried to use Google Hangouts. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm here to make mistakes so that maybe you don't make them. No, we all make mistakes. And if you're not making mistakes, then that means you're not trying. And if you're not trying, then, well, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. You're probably not going to get any closer to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Pretty much. Right. Excuse me while I warm up my tea. I don't know where all of these accents come from, people, but you light up my life, YouTube friends. You all give me hope to carry on. Y'all light up my life. One more second, please, audience. Oh. I was feeling parched. I was feeling verklempt. I was feeling parched. I need some water. Look, how cute is this, right? I found this brand new, and it's factory sealed inside a Goodwill. But, Violet, what are you sniffing around for? Corn dog. Corn. Violet Rose. Excuse me, ma'am. What are you sniffing around for? Why don't you go outside and go potty? You know where your doggy door is. I know that there's snow on the ground. She does not like the snow. I need to find her some booties that are small enough that are going to stay on her little feet. Because she does not like her feet being cold. On my water thing. Here. You get up there. Okay, you say hi to the people. Okay, there we go. Okay, tell the people hi while I go grab my tea. You just stay right there and look cute now. Go. What a dork. You're silly. You're silly, funky girl. It's the eye of the tiger. I see we have now 4 people watching. Hello, all you 4 fabulous individuals. Hopefully you all are enjoying my nonsense. And if you're reseller, listing hard, it is Friday. Weekend is coming. The weekend is upon us. I have a few scheduled out. I have some listings scheduled out. So I wasn't going to try to stress too much about the weekend and maybe try to source, because all I have done is gone to Goodwill that one day. And I only went in with like $2. So even though I saw a lot of really amazing things that I would have normally probably jumped all over, but oh, and there's my cat, Alessandra. Allie. Poor thing is a little chubby turd she is. We're working on her chubbiness. It's just like a circus around here. You just never know. Oh, Allie, go on. Violet, leave her alone. Go on. Oh, you silly animals. All right. No, but for real, now I really am going to finish up my listings here. I'm kind of a little twisted in my setup I got going on. So I did a bunch of these little listings on my little new friends. And I cannot see the chat. Not that it seems anybody's there, but that's all right. I know there's people watching. I'm sailing away. But I am now in my eBay store. Getting into my drafts here. I had done a bunch, 10 drafts. Basically, I made one draft, copied it 9 more times because they were all Moose, that's a company that they're by, Ugly's Pet Shop. Figures, these little guys, I'll show you. I had just made one and just recopied it and took all the pictures of all the little dudes. But I hadn't changed the title because I kind of think it's easier. I was taking the pictures or drafting it from my phone. I think it's way easier, honestly, to do this from my PC because I can just copy and paste. I usually have some type of screen up, that has Microsoft Word or Notebook or whatever it is you have. And it's my little template. I know that there's listing templates, but I kind of put a generic to every part. And like here is part of my little spiel. I go back and forth on whether it's better to list, in the description parts, like something really, a whole bunch of words, or whether it's better to just, have one sentence. But for my own sanity and my own comfort, and I really honestly think still another reason why I haven't had to deal with refunds is because, I'm listing some details. My mom has been in eBay for a really long time, so she's kind of the one who suggested that I do that, and so that's what I do. But part of my little spiel is, it says, note, please be reminded that due to lighting effects, monitor brightness, contrast, settings, etc., there could be some slight differences in the color tone of the pictures and the actual item. We use recycled shipping materials whenever we can to do our part in saving Mother Earth. Please inquire with any questions or comments. Thank you and have a great day. Yeah, that's what I put in almost every single listing, and I just copy and paste that. Got some music going on in the background. I'm bad, you know it. I'm bad, you know it. Bad, you know it. Hope everybody's, I don't know if y'all have big plans for the weekend, or maybe you're going to go sourcing. I definitely think I'm going to probably do that and get back some of those items that I could make, a higher profit off of. I really like to try to at least make sure that I can make so much off of something, kind of per hour, or even if it's like these little ugly fellers. I made one listing and can just repeat it a whole bunch of times. Like it takes me no time to take a few pictures of this guy. I literally will set my phone down like on the flat surface I have over here of filming or taking pictures, and just set him out and just spin him just a little bit, picture, 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 picture. And then I usually do the bottom of him and then a flat lay, kind of where he's laying flat with a quarter or a penny or something to show size comparison. It depends on what I'm listing on, if I'm going to say how tall it is, or how big it is. Like if it's a figurine, a bigger figurine, ceramic figurine, porcelain, or some type of like art, just really, then I will measure it. I have to kind of anyways to try to figure out, what box it's going to fit in. So, and the more and more things you describe, the less questions you're going to get. I don't know why it is, but like I've never been one to necessarily really like or enjoy, answering a million questions, but it just kind of saves you some time. And I think in this business, a little bit of time management is pretty key. If you're going out and you're thrifting for 5 hours and you only find one item that's worth $2, like, there are good days and bad days, obviously. I think also, though, it's kind of hard to necessarily just always have one point, in because it kind of needs to be sort of a week as a whole. But, because if you're doing an auction, you got to wait 7 days. I like auctions. I haven't done auctions in kind of a while. I only will do them if either I don't necessarily know what the value of something is. I know that it, could bring something, or obviously if I, research it and I think that it's gonna do better on auction, then that's what I'll do. But if it seems that, like this little guy, I could put him up for auction, but if I am going to, I'm going to start him, at some really teeny tiny price. And I get kind of confused when I start doing that, because then once they've gone in auction for so many times, and, I'm paying so much if I continue to do it. But so this is one of the first. Isn't this little fool ugly? He is an uglies, right? And these little guys they're popular like Littlest Pet Shops. Like this is, let's see. I don't know. So I was trying to show you the bottom so that you could see a little better. Ayo, ayo, I said ayo, la 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 la. Ayo. Oh, we're gonna use my. See if the little light works. I did not buy this. It came in a bag. I was going to see if we can see this a little better. This is kind of strange doing this like this. Ooh, that worked pretty good though. So it says Moose with China on it. And then on the uglies, there's actually, and it's UGGLY. UGLY. You ain't got no alibi. You ugly. Yeah. No, you guys are all beautiful. This guy, he's ugly. Or interesting looking. Like maybe he lived real close to a nuclear plant of some sort. There's my crazy cat. She loves that thing. So on it, there's a marking. Where is his little U at? This is such strange little light here. Now, I know you is a uglies. I know you are, sir. Where is your little marking, sir? Oh, here we go. So he has, oh yeah, that's great. You really can't see that, huh? So it's, oh, sort of, there you go. It's a U stamped in there like that. So I'm going to bring up this little draft so I can finish this and get him posted. I just have to edit the pictures. What time are we at here? It is 2:24, Friday, January 25th, 2019, just in case y'all want to know the date. I'm going to go to complete draft. We are completing. And make sure his little inventory number is correct. This is the part that I have to change, is the description of what he is. Not all figurines, I just kind of have a general thing for. Like, you know, there are, for example, Littlest Pet Shops. There are some of those figurines that are worth a lot of money. Uglies are newer characters, and they're not worth as much. Like I said, they're more in my store as a filler, but I do pretty well off of little figurines. I sold a little while back Ren and Stimpy. So I notice a lot, you know, a lot of things from when I was a kid, you know, is really popular right now, and they're doing all the, you know, replicas and bringing it back, and that is awesome and all, but some of those original type of little silly toys that, you know, the little figurines are usually not very big, are worth all right, considering how much they cost everyone to ship it. But like I said, when you can repeat something, like I do Ren and Stimpy, you know, make a simple type of generic listing and then recopy it and just swap out the name of it and the pictures, then cool beans. I am definitely going to, when I source, I'm gonna check back into the chat here. Where is everybody at? Hello. Probably all that. I've had enough of this crazy lady. Just kidding. Yeah, so when I go sourcing, I'm going to, you know, I set myself kind of a budget, especially when I was first starting out. Like, I would leave my wallet in the car so that I wouldn't get overly excited and think that I needed everything. And it sort of forced me to pick and choose. And in the beginning, I was really focused on, because I wasn't necessarily desperate for money, on, you know, getting that feedback and hitting top seller. I think that that's a good kind of starting, you know, goal for a lot of people, is to try to make it a goal to be a top seller, which is, what is it now, 100 sales and $1,000 in sales and 100 items sold. I think that that's what it is. Don't mark me on that, but something like that. So that was kind of, you know, something that I had set in my mind to do. I like to sort of break down everything by money, you know, of how much, in my goals of how much I want to maybe post per day or per hour or really per week, because sometimes, you know, you can't be posted. I can't personally post every hour. That's why I schedule a lot of listings. You know, I always hear the excuse, oh, Mom, I got kids, or I work all day, or all that. When I get that, you know, having kids kind of makes it difficult. But if you want this to work, you're going to have to find the time to figure out how to do that. and whether that's getting up an hour ahead of your kids, or whatever it is, an hour earlier, and just putting out a few scheduled listings, do that and do it through the most important hours, which is when people are going to get on to look, especially if it's an auction though. Really, the best days to start listing auctions are, Friday, Saturday. I think Sunday is the best day probably to list for auctions. But all the buy it now stuff, really, I like to shoot like morning, afternoon, evening. If I can only do 3 a day. If I could do 10, 20, then I'll start breaking it down on the schedules and do it, one every hour. And I also keep in mind, that it's 10 cents, but 10 cents is worth spending, because 10 cents times 10 items, is a buck, but just not, that is worth it to spend a cost of $1 to be able to not have to worry about all my listings for the rest of the afternoon while my, kids run rampant. They're not really like that, but they're a little older now. My youngest is 7, so I don't have a little toddler necessarily anymore, but it doesn't mean he ain't usually jumping all across this couch, being a little wild monkey man. To do what you got to do, Absolutely. All right, back to this. I was watching myself. I need to get out of the habit of doing that. And always just focus right here on you, beautiful people. Hello. We am on the way. We am on the way. Always have a million songs stuck in my head. Okay, so this is some ugly little mouse-looking creature. So I'm just going to change this little part. Mouse. I'm going to copy that little title right there. And change that in my little description title under item description. And this post should be good. Except for them always. I like to do best offer pretty much every single time. But I don't like that it always gives you, especially if you save from your phone or, are listing from your phone, it automatically puts up an offer. Automatically decline offers lower than. I don't know why it does that. I want to be able to decline certain amounts. I've heard people do it both ways. They like to do that. But if I've had something for a long time, I don't mind getting rid of it. Let me double check all this. I don't know where that came from. Heard it through the grapevine. Not much longer you'll be mine. Ooh, heard it through the grapevine. I'm editing my pictures real quick on figurines because I'm pretty sure the iPhones do the little square thing, and maybe there's an app that could make it square in my pictures, but I'm kind of set in what I do. I've done it for a long time, but if anybody knows if there's an app or something that will make it to always square, the photos, that would be cool. But anyway, so I just take them like little small stuff. I just take it at a certain distance, and then I don't have to go into my picture and try to, crop it by expanding or not expanding or whatever it is, to get it to kind of cover the the character. I like to make sure that I am as close into the item, flaws and all, because again, refund wise, people, I mean, I'd rather just tell them what's up or let them see. And I do put in my things that pictures are a part of the description, but I will list any very noticeable type of flaws. Especially if it's a high dollar item. Like I've eBayed art glass or vases, flower vases, sculptures, a lot of figurines, from resin type of figurines to ceramic, porcelain, pottery. If I can figure out fairly quickly who it is and where it's from. I'm not well versed in all pottery, and a lot of times for me it's hard to try to figure out some of these type of markings in the bottom. I like to pick things up that are from out of the country, made somewhere else, not necessarily China, but like Russia. I picked up a few things that were Moroccan, like I'm learning about more of the Asian type of labeling and the different eras, because I do like to list some things, but a lot of it just has really it's visual. Like I was drawn to it because it visually appealed to me. It gets me excited when I like whatever it is I'm looking at. Like you get into this rut sometimes when you're just continuing to list things you don't like. Like this is not, that exciting for me, these little dudes, but it's easy. And it's small. Easy to ship. Oops. See, I needed to finish my thought because I just goofed up my little thing. Here, 10 miles. I need to just finish this. That's another thing I'm learning, is that especially when the day is a little more chaotic or there's lots of kind of noise going on, like I like to just take a bunch of pictures. I'll take 5, take pictures for 5 to 10 items, and then I'll set them over here or wherever, if I'm going to list them the next day, I can't set them right there, but I'll set them, right here, and then I'll have a kind of a, some type of container or something after I've listed it, to be able to put it in so that it can go and be inventoried. Doing things right away is, I know, key. Like, don't tell yourself, oh, I'll inventory this later. Out of any of the things that you're going to wait to do, like it's better to take a picture and wait to list it than list the item and not inventory it, not put it where it belongs. More and more you list, the more and more you continue to do this, the more items you're going to have. And being organized, like I wish I would have started that right out the gate, because I did not. And here's what happened. I did not do that right away. And I got to my first, 100, I think it was 100 listings. Or close to it. And I started to have issues on finding things because I was so excited about, sourcing the next thing or getting it up or whatever it was, that I was then in turn spending a lot of time trying to search for things, which, got my anxiety up and me in a panic. And that's just really not necessary. So when I finally decided to switch to doing inventory, I then in turn had to go through every single one of all of those things and put it, a label on it. It took me a minute. I did it container by container. I also think that that is a great way to recheck inventory throughout the year, is container by container. I don't know how some of these songs pop in my head, but because I don't have my music, I don't hear it loud enough in the background over there. Sorry, I'm just double checking this because I start getting on this whole thing and start rambling, and then I am being silly. Then I'm being silly. I'm just not finishing it, not finishing my train of thought or my post, and then I get myself all goofed up. Another thing I like to do, and I don't know how many other people do this. If you do this, you'll have to let me know either in the chat or maybe in the comments for those of you that are watching this at a later date, is I like to put 2 ways to ship something if I can. Like I'll do first class, but also give them the opportunity to do priority mail. You're so sincere, love me so. Forever, we're drifting apart. Can you guess what's playing now? I do hear it. My heat went off and I heard it. So now I come to you with open arms. It's kind of a hard song to, Journey's pretty hard to sing. It's pretty high, but it's really hard to sing sitting down. So here I am with open arms. You'll see love means to me. Open arms. I had a bunch of little tiny bags like this. I need to go get some more though. So I'm just using regular like sandwich bags. They're kind of a pain in the butt to get open, but I have nails, so but I'm gonna take my little inventory label. So I know where he needs to go. Go home. Tonight and today. I got about 20 more minutes. Let's see how many of these I can smash out. Speaking of smashing, I appreciate all of the likes. You are awesome. Way to make a girl feel happy. I'm so happy because I'm happy. Life is good, people. All right, we're gonna do this. Next up, this feller. He, well, I'm not even sure what he has in his mouth. He has some green substance all around his lips. Something neon. I'm guessing he's just playing with a toy. I don't know. So we'll say, well, he's definitely a dog, right? Let's see. Yeah. This is really kind of just for my own sanity on putting what colors in there. I also like to try to, I don't know, use as many, fill that title up if I can. Best as I can. Mm-hmm. Do-do. Bow, bow. Mm-hmm. I'm just clicking away here. Copy paste. Oh, copy paste. I'm gonna get this done. You watch. Mm-hmm. Oh, I wanted to, in my other listing, my other live that I attempted right before this one, and my girl Leticia came into the chat, and I couldn't get my camera to come up, so I had to just restart a live, which was a bummer. I wonder if I don't know how that works, but that was kind of a bummer, but I don't know why it wouldn't list. But I was, in my title, I said that I was going to talk about 5 abbreviations that are usually in titles. And I know for those that have been resellers, for a while, all of these, but I know when I first started, I did not know them. So I figured I would talk about a couple of the 5 abbreviations that you see in titles. It's funny, when I first started and I was doing the whole, search for an item and just basically copied that post, even the title. I didn't realize like the inventory numbers that were people putting on the end of their titles. I didn't realize that was just their way to inventory, or what the other like mumbo jumbo on there was, which can, get, somebody might complain about it, just because if you're trying to list something, and let's say you don't realize that the abbreviation is, new in package, and you just copy it, and then you're copying it and selling an item that's used, like, they're not going to be happy. Especially collectors. Collectors always want, like of course, sealed in package is like always amazing, to have it mint condition, brand new. Oh, come on. Here, I'm multitasking. My typing skills are fabulous. See, I should have just copy and paste it. Okay. But yeah, people who are collectors of things always want it in, if they think an item is sealed in package or whatever it is, they're thinking that it is brand new. So if there's even a dent in that package, or it is ripped anywhere, probably not going to be so great if they're a collector of it, for sure. I'll always just if I see it easily, I'll describe it, whatever it is that, I'll put like new, or, whatever it is, depending on what I'm trying to list. All right, we got this gentleman, this creepy creeper. He is listed. Oh, let me add that second shipping thing. Pretty excited for the weekend, friends. excited to not be doing this. Oh, just kidding. I love eBay. I just am not, if I'm not into an item so much, then I get, and listing as many as I did, the 48 items or whatever it was I listed yesterday, kind of pooped me out. I ran sort of out of steam, and I need to refill my cup. Can't refill anybody else's cup unless yours is filled. So yes, to the eBay abbreviations, one of them was the NIB. N as in I'm Nancy. I as in I am awesome. And B as in B. Bzz, bzz. Oh. That's new in box. Another one is, if something's vintage, then I like to put that it's vintage. If I don't have enough room in my title to type out vintage, then I will put VTG. For short, another abbreviation is the NWT, which is new with tags. And that's more like I see that one, especially on more clothing items or, because new in box is, I don't think it's necessarily to put that on all of them, but it does help, especially for those that are, used to shopping on eBay, and for kind of your own knowledge when you look at listings yourself. Another one is the NIP. P as in Peter, Paul. That'd be new in package. And the last one I have to share would be EUC. Excellent used condition. That is not one that I normally use but I do see it a lot. I will describe in my little descriptive part, not the big description section, but right underneath. Let's see where it's right underneath. I'm bringing up getting to list another dude here. Let me scroll down. What is that under? Right under. All right. So yeah, right under where it's the UPC and then the condition. When you click on that, the condition description. And I'll keep it real simple. Like for these, they came right out of the package and were not played with. I opened them and just stored them. That's how a lot of the figurines are. I don't like to give away all my secrets, but a little retail arbitrage that I do is I will buy a package of figurines that have multiple in it, and I will open it. Unless it's really worth a lot, sealed up, but I will open it up. Like I did that. I've done that quite a few times with Despicable Me characters. There's these little minis. I had got them from, I think it was Target, maybe clearance. I like to coupon for Target, and I would get coupon items where I could get the little $5 gift card, and then I would take the $5 gift card and I would retail arbitrage, RA with it, and just go scope out all those end parts of the aisle. Well, that's where all the clearance stuff in my Target is, but I liked it because I like it because I can kind of just go around all the edge. They've rearranged the one that's near me, but I like to do that. And I got them, those Despicable Me little minis. I got them for, I think they were 48 cents for 5 of them, and I got like 5 of them. So then I just broke it up and I did each little dude for whatever it was, a couple dollars. And then the ones that sat there for a while, then like for these guys, all these guys, I have tons and tons and tons of them, right? Whatever doesn't kind of sell after some time, then I'll just lot up and I'll get rid of it or give it to my kid if he really is. He has so many characters, like Cars. He loves Cars, movie, Lightning McQueen, all those guys. He has a ton of those. And Mario, like Nintendo, Mario, Toad, all those. He loves those. He has all kinds of characters and figures. My daughter used to be really into Little's Pet Shop. So that's what got me honestly started on realizing the figure thing. And then when I was buying those mesh of toys for $1, whatever it was, they had some characters in them. So I usually, in my little bags that I like to get, my 99-cent bags that I get from thrift stores, lost my train of thought here for one moment. Anyway, so the little 99-cent bags that I get, I like to pull out. I mean, if I could see it right away, pull out the item that's worth the most. And that's going to be one of the first things that I'm going to list. That even applies to when I schedule listings. I'll pull out the ones that are of higher mark and I'll put them at a certain hour. Like my higher listing ones, more expensive listings that I when I do schedule listings is like I'll prime time hours, lunchtime, nighttime, prime time hours, in the morning, early in the morning. You just got to think like yourself. Like, when are you online and shopping and doing these things? What would you do? How would you look at things, All right. This guy is, I'm pretty sure, I want to say a catfish. So let me go back to my chat here. Oh. Can you see it? Can you see it now? I couldn't see my chat. Yeah. Makes me want to go fishing. Maybe not for a catfish that looks like this. I haven't been catfish fishing in a while. That was more of a Kansas thing, but here in Colorado, it's a lot of trout, and bass fishing. That's more local. Or in Kansas, it was bass. Like, you didn't come across rainbow trout like you do here, and catfish, because they have all those kind of muddy type of ponds and stuff. Ooh, little trick: if you ever try to cook catfish, leave it in milk. Literally, after you fillet it or do whatever you're trying to do, leave it in milk for overnight. It gets that muddy taste out. Catfish, I like to fry it because it's just not one of my favorites necessarily to eat, but I love fishing. For those of you that don't know, I cannot wait to go fishing. I had my pacemaker surgery last May and was not able to go fishing because I was not allowed to bring my elbow or my arm up like this. I wasn't even allowed to, I could go zombie mode, but no higher than that. So I didn't get the chance to go fishing, which was sad, but I plan on fishing a lot, as much as possible this year. I cannot wait. I'm going to get my fishing license for the whole year, and I'm going to go fishing as much as possible, and camping. I love camping. Love it, love it. Anybody else out there like camping? I just like to be in the outdoors. Well, if the weather's right. Ooh, you go up in the mountains even during the summers, and some of those nights are pretty cold, but I love it. I love being out in nature and I love animals and birds and all kinds of stuff. I want it to be nice here again so I can start filling up my bird seed, my bird feeders out there. I'll definitely have to show that in future lives. Like, I wonder if the neighbors think I'm absolutely totally off my rocker because I'll like call out to the birds, I'm like, here, pretty, pretty, or I'll be singing, sing sweet nightingale. I don't know, it's from Cinderella or one of those, I don't know, Sleeping Beauty, something like that. And there is hundreds of birds that come to that feeder that I put out. And then, of course, Alvin, he's not a chipmunk. He's a squirrel, and he is a little pain in the hiney, and he loves to try to figure out ways to get into the bird feeder. We have it up on a pole now, which has been helpful because he'll get up there and he'll stretch out up, if you can. It was kind of close to our tree, and he'll stretch out and he'll push it, and it'll knock all the birdseed out. But now he's just, the last few times he was just trying to eat all the stuff that was off the ground. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world in 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Wow, is it really 3 o'clock? What happened to the time, friends? That's all right. I'm doing all this scheduling so that I can in these listings, so that I don't have to deal with it, and I can just shop. 50% off tomorrow. I'm pretty sure at my Goodwill. There's a bunch of Goodwills around here. There's a couple that I like. One is all the way across town, which I don't usually go unless I go across town. The other one is close. It's, maybe 10 minutes at the most away. And then there's a couple thrift stores really close I could probably walk to. And then there are people, and I don't think you're allowed to do it around here, but there are people who do garage sales almost every weekend. So the pros to living in the ghetto. Oh, I'm kind of on the edge. So that's why I think I love, I can find some good things in the Goodwills because Stapleton area is not too far off from me, and it's kind of a lot of it is newer development. It used to be where the airport was here in Denver, and they tore that down, many moons ago, and put up a shopping center, Walmart, King Soopers, and then a bunch of houses and stuff like that. But as that area and then Northfield kind of started to expand, Northfield is pretty nice. Like there's a lot of nicer, brand new, spanking, really modern looking houses. My daughter loves them. They have those big picture type of windows in the front. That's what I want. But I want it to be on a big property, not these Cracker Jack kind of houses where you can see into your neighbor's bathroom. I don't want that. I want to be able to open up my blinds and not have to worry about the whole world looking in. I guess I don't have nothing to hide, but what if I'm walking around in just my underwear during the day? Nobody wants to see that. All right, I am listing my other little ugly friend who has a little rabbit, which I think the rabbit is the cutest thing that I've seen about seen from any of these. I should show you all the ones that I can't figure out what they are. What is that thing? I'm pretty sure this one is a dog. Okay, this character, he's a dog. He's orange though. Orange, naranja. Pretty sure that's what it is in Spanish. Orange. Make sure his little inventory numbers are still correct. Oh, what a boob. Forgot to copy the title here. Sure, I make all kinds of funny faces when I'm concentrating. According to my stepmom, I have a gene that I guess is passed down, she says, with my last name, that apparently makes you stick your tongue out a lot when you're concentrating. My son does it too. Like, he'll be all, whatever it is, he get his tongue out when he's concentrating really hard. I do the same thing, but I try to focus to not do that on YouTube. Not that it matters, right? Maybe it does. I don't know. Kind of makes me chuckle thinking about that, because there's a YouTuber that I like to watch who had a video go up today, and he was chewing gum in it. And he just couldn't even stand the fact that he was like, I can't believe I did that. And it made me laugh. We all make mistakes, so it's not a big deal. I mean, if people click off of him because he's chewing gum, then they're fools, because he gives out such great information. And if he's ever watching this, maybe he'll laugh about it too. That would be, I'll give him a shout out. It'd be Steve from Rakin Profit. I have learned a lot about him. Not about him. That sounded all creepy. I'm stalking him. No. He's got a lot of good nuggets and good info. And I also really like how he mentions to try to be mindful about how you take care of yourself. And, he talks about how he, wakes up and chugs a glass of water or whatever it is. And in his video, they were doing a meetup, which I think would be really cool. So anybody out there in YouTube land, live in Colorado, maybe around the Denver area, want to do like a thrifting meetup, that would be so cool. It looked cool. There was a whole bunch of people went, and they just kind of all thrifted together. And it was neat to see that, there's 20 people in this thrift store, and yet every single one of them, you pretty much found something. So I also liked that it was a little more unscripted, and it was like behind the scenes. Not that videos that aren't like that aren't amazing, because I tend to watch a lot of videos that, especially if I'm looking for information, it'll be 10, 15 minutes long, and it'll be like, here are 5 ideas of things you can sell, or, here are 5 tips for YouTube or whatever. I plan on doing more videos like that, because I think they're helpful. I don't want it to always just be goofy. I know that that's me, and I love to make people smile and make them realize that life is way too short, but, to be serious all the time. But at the same time, I want to be able to give people good information, about whatever it is that I'm trying to attempt to do or do know already. I have all kinds of ideas brewing in my head. That's why I don't sleep at night now, because I'm just too excited, too excited about all the cool things going on in life and all the ideas and ooh, my merch. Yes, yes. Merch, borderline hoarderish. My merch, I got 2 shirts up. I need to buy one. Somebody bought one yesterday. Woohoo! But I need to buy one so that I can sport it, and I just love it. I think it's awesome. I'm really excited. I'm going to use my artistic abilities. These are just simple text ones, but I'm going to use my artistic abilities to my advantage and design some cool stuff. I'm stoked about it. I'm also excited because I started Amazon like affiliate programming, and I'm gonna start selling on Amazon here real soon. I don't like to do too many new things all at one time. I'm a firm believer in yes, having multiple streams of income, but also really focusing and getting down one thing before you head dive into the next. I think that it's important to not spread yourself too thin. You're kind of asking for trouble in that sense, and you're going to get burnt out and not want to do this anymore or make more mistakes, really. And I get that everybody's level of what they need to bring in is different, but the best thing is don't just quit your job without having the income for sure to, back it up. Maybe ease into it or whatever, instead of just jumping ship on what. There are those that, will quit their job and just go totally and completely jump into the reseller life, but you have to have a little bit of knowledge to do that. Now, if you need to make money quick, I've done that a few times and just sold stuff local. But I think it's better, to not jump so quick into something without having a little bit of knowledge. You don't need to do, a whole months of research or anything like that, but you need to have the basics. And starting off with selling stuff around your house is really a pretty awesome idea. Asking people if you're on a budget, watching Craigslist, free lists, and the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace for free stuff. I've bought furniture before that maybe was missing knobs or needed a little TLC, and I don't do, it's kind of hard during the winter to do things like that, but during the summers, when it's really nice, it's pretty easy to paint something outside, that's big. So I would go and get a dresser from Craigslist, or even driving the back alleys, what I call curb getting it off the curb, and going and getting, some matching doorknobs. You can get them fairly cheap, or not doorknobs, little knobs, or even taking the ones that, if you do have all of them on there, and spray painting them, with some type of Rust-Oleum thing or something, and then selling it. I'm getting little Mr. Skeleton Frog. That's what he is. I will show you all him. I think he's honestly the coolest one so far. What is going on? What in tarnation just happened here? What in tarnation? What in tarnation just happened here? What is going on? Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't know what is going on with my little laptop, but it's losing its marbles. I've lost my marbles a long time ago. So if y'all see them, you can P.O. Box them to me, to my mind. P.O. Box, my brain, send my marbles. Okay. Okay. Down her. Change these on. We are family. I don't know why that is stuck in my head, but it sure is. I hope that I have maybe given some I don't know, life advice or some tips on eBay. You know, the beginning of this video I was rambling on about motivation and stuff like that, and I think it's really important to try to find, you know, even when to show up every day. If you want this to work, you need to show up pretty much every day. It's good to get, you know, to have a day off or have some time off or whatever it is, but that's, you need to show up every day if you want this, well, a lot of businesses to work. Gotta show up every day. Whether that's sourcing, listing, when I'm not all up in my eBay store, even just scrolling through it, I mean, it really affects my sales. My sales were kind of slow because I took, and I know some people might think this is crazy, but I did take part of fourth quarter sort of off, as in I wasn't sourcing for new stuff. I was just, you know, trying to go through my other stuff. And so I wasn't really adding new listings, which, you know, can hurt you. But my laptop's on the fritz. Dude is like a lady. The song always reminds me of Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello. I thought about being that for Halloween. Is Mrs. Doubtfire when she puts her face in the cake, and she's like frosting all over her face. I just always think that's so funny. Robin Williams was a funny man. It's very tragic what happened to him. Check into your friends always, people, I'm telling you. You just never know what they're going through. Really makes me sad that such a wonderful, funny, you know, man who's brought so many smiles to the whole world is not with us anymore. That's sad. For sure. Dude, looks like a lady. All right, so I got this one. This little dude. This normally doesn't take me this long to do these, but I'm sort of distracted in the fact that I'm trying to talk to you guys. So it's taking me a little longer than usual. All right, I just finished that. My little frogger dude. I have 5 more of these dudes I need to list real quick. And I know that if I get off the computer, I will be able to do that in 10 minutes or less, probably. I appreciate everybody, you coming and who dropped in, stopped by. I know Fridays seem to be busy. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, feel free to do so. My Instagram name is Life of Kimberly. I will put that down in the description. Also, my merch, yay. How exciting. Just go at least look at it. Like, I'm so excited for it. Oh, yeah. I do have them up for men and women And then picked out, of course, some different colors and stuff. I need to order mine. Ooh, I love the cranberry one, like the cranberry red color. I think that is what I'm gonna get for sure. It's such a pretty color. It's not like, I don't know, it's not a blood red. It's more of a cranberry. It's called cranberry. If you have not liked my video yet, please do. I appreciate every single one of you so much. Feel free to comment or, dislike. I hope that you don't do that. I am open for criticism. We all can learn, I'm sure, from each other, and I hope that you have learned something from this. I also send out air hugs to all of my current subscribers. Okay, that was air hug. Oh, we're hugging. Air hugs. Okay, pushing them off into the world. So subscribe to my channel for any future videos so you can be up to date on my shenanigans and the latest and greatest in my life. I doubt I will go live over the weekend. I might put out some videos, but I will for sure go live on Monday around noon Colorado time, which is mountain time. Join me there for, some little, who knows what kind of shenanigans. No, I like to try to motivate pretty much in every video, but let's start our week off good. So hope to see you all Monday and look forward to sharing more tips, I'm sure. Again, I appreciate everybody. Much love to all on this beautiful day, and I hope everybody has a safe and fun weekend. Goodbye. Until the next time. Adu, toyo, anyo. Bye.